5 horror sequels that don't suck. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Take the tone and the grittiness of the original and flip it on its head. This movie does the complete opposite of the original. When you have an incredible first movie and 10 years pass before a sequel is released, why not go crazy with it? Tobe Hooper also directs this one, and while some may hate it because of how much of a 180 it pulls, I love this movie and you may as well. You have a hilarious car sequence in the beginning, followed by 2 hours of carnage involving a radio host, a vengeance-filled cop played by Dennis Hopper, and many chainsaws, and you have a fun time on your hands. The Exorcist 3. Ever wonder what if they made a decent sequel to The Exorcist? Well, they did. It's this movie. Exorcist 2: The Heretic may as well not exist after watching this, because this is the true sequel. A lieutenant played by George C. Scott investigates a series of murders happening in Georgetown that happens to be connected loosely to the Gemini killer from the first movie, demonic forces, and a patient in a psych unit. Solid movie with a standout performance by Brad Dourif. This sequel went under the radar for a lot of people. Exorcist 2 probably left a sour taste in people's mouths, but Exorcist 3 is a solid movie I recommend checking out. Psycho 2. Speaking of sequels that went under the radar, a sequel to one of the most classic movies of all time, surprisingly good. Norman Bates serves 20 years in a psych unit, and he ends up being released and goes back home to the Bates Motel. He gets a job at a local diner where he befriends a waitress named Mary. Not long after being home, Norman struggles to maintain a semi-normal life. I don't want to give much away to this movie because it is best to just go watch it. I can see some not liking how it plays out, but it all worked well for me. Anthony Perkins is the reason to watch this film, with a great performance again as Norman Bates. I can surprisingly empathize with him in this movie because you know he's just trying to be better and start his life over. I'm still shocked how many have still never watched this movie before. Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. When you kill off your killer in Part 4 and try to start the franchise again under a new killer, it didn't work for the majority of Friday the 13th fans. So you bring back Jason, right? Of course, by, I don't know, a lightning bolt? Sounds like a plan. Jason Lives is a perfect example of a movie that knows exactly what it is and is all the better for it. From the James Bond parody in the opening, to Jason punching a dude through the chest and holding his heart through the other side, to making Jason now an undead killing machine, what's not to like? It's not spectacular, but it's a fun Friday the 13th sequel, and that's exactly what you'll get, so watch it if you haven't already. 10 Cloverfield Lane. I would dare even say this is better than the original Cloverfield, which in my opinion really isn't that good. No found footage aspect to this one, and you don't even need to see the original Cloverfield or the other sequel, Cloverfield Paradox, to appreciate how good this one is. Mary Elizabeth Winstead plays a girl named Michelle who gets in a bad car wreck and wakes up in an underground bunker, and is introduced to the guy who brought her there, Howard, along with another rescued person named Emmett. Howard won't let Michelle or Emmett leave the bunker because of the apparent apocalypse that is currently happening. John Goodman as Howard is fantastic in this movie, and even though something isn't quite right with him, he does have good intentions despite being super flawed. A lot of aspects of this movie have the question of, is Howard right or wrong about what is happening in the outside world? Great tension and suspense throughout. The last 15 minutes may lose some people, but this is a horror sequel that I consider a legit good standalone film that just happens to be very, very loosely tied to the Cloverfield franchise. So that was 5 horror sequels that don't suck. There's probably at least another video or 2 I could make out of this same exact title, but these are at least 5 that I could think of right off the bat that I do recommend and do think that are decent sequels in certain horror franchises. So if any of those sound appealing, definitely check those out if you haven't already, and I appreciate you watching. I will see you in a future video. Bye.